gotten together as a progressive alliance and talked about it. But I hope that you guys will support it. All they're asking for is 1 penny more per pound of tomatoes that they pay. And you guys know that the minimum wage just went up, right? But theirs isn't. So actually, they're getting paid less for their work. So now, instead of picking 2 tons of tomatoes just to earn $50 a day, they have to pick 2.5 tons of tomatoes to get $50 a day. And that's a lot. Do you guys have any questions about that? We tabled last semester, and you guys know this is a fairly conservative campus, and I got a lot of questions and a lot of comments from people. But we still able to get close to 800 signatures, and it wasn't just the Progressive Student Alliance. There was professors, Dr. Wayne Robinson, I know specifically because he invited me to his class, and Bridget and I actually spoke to the students there about what we were doing on campus, and the students in his class were also encouraged to help the campaign in any way they could. They collected signatures, they collected pennies, and in case you guys don't remember, I hope it's we made a petition banner of an eagle, because our mascot is an eagle. In its beak there was a ribbon that said justice, common sense, and its claws with the altered logo of a Burger King that said Tyrant King. At the bottom, you saw the CIW logo, the stars, the 3 stars with CIW. So it was like Eagle, Justice, and CIW crushing Burger King. And we participated in the 9.5-mile march. And then we also presented our petition banner along with a bunch of other things. I believe the total number of signatures that they got was like over 84,000 nationwide. So I think I've mentioned this before. You know, it's not just students supporting the coalition and the Student Farm Worker Alliance. There's also Interfaith Action. They mobilize a bunch of different faith-based organizations and churches all over the country. And also, what's cool about the CIW is that they're helping other farm workers in other countries, like in Brazil. Even if it's just like trying to get the word out about what's going on in Brazil. I mean, it's even worse over there. Any other questions? All right, well, if you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I encourage you to check out the CIW webpage. Does anybody else want to say anything? Susie?
My name's Susie, and I'm also from Power of One. We have a couple of different things that we're doing this semester, well, this year actually. So in case anybody would like to work with us on some of the things we're doing. One thing we're doing is an organic grocery tote, free to FGCU students. And so we're going to do the whole anti-plastic bag campaign and just kind of let people know about photo degradation, I guess it would be. That plastic bags photodegrade, they don't biodegrade, so they just break into little bitty pieces that just kind of stay in the system. They stay in the earth, they stay in the water. Animals consume them, humans consume them. That never goes away. So that's one thing we're doing. Also with our t-shirts. I know all of you will be ordering t-shirts. In case you didn't know, Planet Ink in North Fort Myers is the only t-shirt maker in the country that uses 100% organic cotton and 100% vegetable-based ink. So because we are an environmental university, I do hope that you support them in that. And they are less expensive than any other options that we have, or at least that we found, and they give a 10% discount to FGCU organizations. So that's Planet Ink in North Fort Myers.
And the shirts are also made in the U.S., so, well, I hope they're not making sweatshirts.
They are. They're made in the US.
All right. Does anybody else want to share anything with us?
I'm not in any organization, but I'll share something cool that I kind of made recently that's environmentally friendly. I bought a go-kart off of Craigslist and converted it into solar power.
Nice.
So I have some pictures of it.
Ronald Reagan, is this on campus or what?
I actually live in College Club, so I use it to get around Gulf Coast Town Center.
Ah, cool.
And just shoot it around Town Center.
Oh, on the bottom right, you could change the zoom. Well, you are connected to zoom.
Yeah, I should know that, but I don't use Internet Explorer either.
Yeah, I use Firefox.
How you doing?
100. Did you drive it over here?
No, I didn't drive it over here today. Let me get a wide shot of it. Why is this computer so slow? So I bought it off Craigslist, and then I work a lot with alternative energy and stuff like that, solar power. Some of you might have seen it before. It's got an A-frame, the 2 solar panels on them. They're 15 watts each, and produces no waste. And the interesting thing is, almost everything on there, other than the panels, is made from waste. Products that would have been waste anyways. If you know, the Sharper Image went out of business a couple months ago, and they had all these batteries for this thing called the Sea Scooter, which is like an underwater propeller thing, and they were going to chuck them and be bad for the environment. There's 40 batteries that were otherwise going to be thrown in the garbage, lead acid batteries that run that thing. And it's a very environmentally friendly vehicle. That's one of the things that I've built. I don't do clubs, organization. You know, I don't represent any club or organization, but some of this stuff is a little too dangerous, and the campus wouldn't allow it to begin with.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Well, don't
You know
close
where to
out.
go now.
Okay.
Don't ask. Don't ask.
I should have done this at the beginning, but I'm kind of glad that I waited because we got some people that started coming in. Can we just each stand up and introduce ourselves? If you want to say something about yourself, then I encourage you to, but I've spoken already a lot and you know who I am now.
Oh, thanks, Angela. Hi, if you don't know me already, I'm Ray. I'm the SG Civic Engagement Director.
I'm Jonathan. I'm a freshman at FGCU. Puerto Rico.
I'm Renee. I'm Renee. She's not any taller. She's so I'm Jennifer Beasley. I'm Amanda. I'm Rachel. I'm a senior and doing forensics and criminal justice.
I'm Vanessa, and I'm a political science major and global studies minor.
My name's Rob. I'm with Amnesty International, and I also work at the Holocaust Museum. I'm Jared.
I'm Danica.
I'm Katie and I'm with Amnesty International. What's your name?
Ivan.
I'm Taylor. I'm with Hillel and Cultural Services.
I'm Suzanne, I'm with Power of One, and none of us have mentioned the Center for Environmental and Sustainability Education, which is hopefully doing some great things this semester as well. So we've got a few of us here.
Ashley, I'm from Power One also, and I'm also a student associate with the Center for Environmental Sustainability and Education.
I'm Richard. I'm a senior, and I work for a company called Think Green Energy Solutions and do all of the new tech designs.
Tom from the community organization EMAC.
I'm Leslie.
I'm Jeff George. I'm running for Congress here in District 14 for the U.S. House of Representatives with no party affiliation.
My name is Ali Baba Lumumba, president of the Lee County Black History Society. I invite everybody to our museum that's in Fort Myers. We're also having a second annual luncheon on October the 7th, and Dr. Bradshaw is the keynote speaker.
Goes out, professional wrestler.
Nick Morado. I'm not from anywhere. I just support the vast majority of the things this group does.
Thank you. All right. Well, we still have a ton of food, guys. So dig in. I'll put these back down there. And again, if there's something that you want to put on the board, feel free to. There's a quote that you want to share with everyone. I encourage you to put it up there.
Red sauce to do
Wasn't sure I was going to make it until I got your correction. Because this is Ramadan, so like around 7:30 to like 8, everyone has their cars. And
Yeah, I got a couple of emails from people saying that they weren't coming because of Ramadan. And some other people that said they couldn't but that's fine. You know, we're here every
that's
month.
part of the course.
So what else is there?
Oh, not too much. Had a really good interview. We're still trying to get a debate going. Now we're trying to go with the Collin County voters. Lee County, we were talking about doing it with them, but they were just overwhelmed and they said they couldn't do it. So we're trying to get Connie Mack to engage in this. We actually had a nice attempt to crash one of his events. I sent Chuck and Damien over there, and they were there about 5 minutes before they told him to turn off the camera. Then on the way out, they actually ran into Connie Mack walking out. So it was kind of amusing.
Has anyone pulled the race?
Not that I know of.
I haven't seen any either. I couldn't follow him.
Jeff, this is Jonathan. He's one of he's a freshman here, and he's very interested in joining our organization. He just asked me why the camera was here. I don't know if you want to explain it.
What we do is everything that I do on the campaign trail, we videotape, and then we take all the raw footage and we put it up on Google Video. So everything that we do is there for anybody who wants to take a look at it. We have 100% transparency. So there's all kinds of footage of people doing all sorts of things and me looking bad in all kinds of locations. So don't feel too bad about not being prepared for the camera.
I didn't expect it.
It gets disconcerting when you start seeing cameras at progressive events. I've been in enough that the government attended.
Yeah.
It can be disconcerting. Are you going to try for one of the party's nominations?
No, we looked at this real early on in the race. We thought about going up to the Democrats, but the Democrats has always been amazingly ineffective in this district, number one. Number two, I have a real problem with the Democratic leadership in Washington right now. I don't think they've been doing much of anything particularly effective.
Not for the most part, no, right now. It's just that we need people who will be effective in the party.
Yeah, well, this has been a real learning experience. The initial idea was I want to go out there and I want to see, okay, if an ordinary citizen, grabs a camera, grabs his friends, and goes out there, how much can we actually accomplish? And
It's stuff if you're running for Congress. And
Oh, this is the office where there's that real disconnect. One of the things that I learned is like the guys on the local level and the county level, they're out talking with people all the time. They have to. They actually are plugged into what they're doing. But it's that you have that real disconnect. It starts on the state level, but it just gets really extreme on the federal level. So it's weird.
I've talked to a couple of fairly grounded congressmen. Like I'm originally from Massachusetts. I met Barney Frank a couple times.
He's one of the good guys in Congress, definitely.
Yeah, as far as I know right now, he's the only one fighting the bailout from the inside, or at least fighting the real horrible giveaway provisions of it. But
yeah, it should be interesting to see what finally emerges. This drives me crazy when they do this. I mean, they're not releasing any of the details until 10 minutes before it goes up for the vote.
Details are leaking out right now. Like there are leaks. I know Paul Krugman has seen some of it. And he's not so happy with it. Trust him on that. And I know congressmen have been leaking to bloggers anonymously some details of it, but it doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't. If you're going to have this kind of bailout, you need to make sure that there's plenty of regulatory oversight. Because basically what you're doing is you're investing the American taxpayer in all of these companies. And if you're going to do that, you have to make sure that these companies are regulated.
Yeah, like we own AIG now. So.
Yeah. I think we could just show up on the stockholder meetings.
Yeah, probably. That would be interesting.
300 million new stockholders.
Yeah. Yeah, about that. Well, that means they're government. They're going to have to send all the shareholder reports to the government.
Mm-hmm.
So, plus, I'll bet they're going to be audited sometime soon.
Well, the thing that makes me nervous is they're saying 700 billion now. You can bet it's going to be well over $1 billion.
The problem is that it's going to be rough because
well over $1 trillion.
Oh, yeah.
Late in Ramadan, my brain has stopped working about.
A couple hours Yeah, what just worries me is that they're going to play chicken with the major depression. And that's, my understanding is there's a few people in Congress already worried about, you know, having to play chicken with, if they don't have something, there's going to be a collapse.
Well, this has been a long time coming. I mean, I've had this urge to send every one of my conservative friends the "I told you so" letter at this point because I used to argue this point until I was blue in the face. Early on in the decade, I said we're heading for a collapse. This economy can't sustain itself.
Anyone who follows balance of payments knows that.
What's going on, Tom?
Same old, same old. Can you come out on Saturday?
Yes, I will be out on Saturday. So I got your email about trying to find somebody. You know, other than Tom Trento and his cronies, I'm not exactly sure who we can get. There's a couple of people, like I said, I know a couple of people that are on the campaign trail now, but they're all going to be at campaign events on that night. So I'm not sure who we can dredge up for that. But I will definitely keep my eyes out if I can think of anybody. Yeah, Trento's been getting enough press the last couple of weeks. I think Islamic Center for Peace was trying to arrange another debate. This time with Trento, they want to get him up on stage. Yeah, supposedly it won't be a debate. It'll be a forum, a discussion forum, like a panel discussion.
With Muhammad.
Yeah.
Did you know?
It's not because it takes like.
Goodwin.
Yeah.
Older couple. Arlene passed away.
I got the message. It's unfortunate. How's Archie doing?
I don't know. Because John Ratio is giving people information. I don't want to bother John because other EPIC members are in contact with him. So we'll find out, see what arrangements they're going to make. And we're dedicating our street action to Arlene on Saturday. And we'll do something else when we figure out what would be best to do. But it's a shame that generation's going. My own folks are up in their late 80s. And last year Bobby Heinrich and this year Arlene.
Yeah, I know there's a couple that always impressed me. I mean, they were always out there every event.
Every week for 4 years, the Naples on the corner.
Yeah, that's real dedication to the cause. I mean, you know, when you see some of these guys that have been involved in the activist community for a long time, and I mean, just, you know, week after week, day after day, year after year, decade after decade, they're out there, you know, speaking for the peace. It's impressive.
So Jeff, what are you going to do to fix the economy in January?
Well, if there's actually an economy left in January, that'll be a good start. Yeah, no, I'm really waiting eagerly. I've been trying to find everything I can on what this actual bailout plan is, because I mean, in theory, I'm not opposed to some sort of bailout, but there has to be plenty of regulation, and we also have to make sure that if we're going to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on bailing out the banks and financial institutions, that we actually spend some money on making sure that these people out here in Fort Myers and Collier and I mean all across the country are actually taken care of. People are losing their houses, because I think what's going to happen now is, from what I've been seeing from the bailout, is I think it'll avert the worst of the crisis, but it's not going to be enough to really improve anything. So what we're going to see is at the very least stagnation for another couple of years, and then past that, very, very slow growth. I don't see any way that just a bailout by itself is going to dig us out. We've really got to reinvest. We've got to invest in wages. We've got to make sure that we reinvest in the infrastructure. And I don't understand, you know, being an underdog in this campaign. We've got a new round of forums coming up. So I mean, I'm actually going to go out and say this. Look, anybody who's running, who's telling you in the federal government that we can cut taxes at this point, is lying to you. You know, they've just added somewhere between $500 billion and $1 trillion to the national deficit, you know, on top of everything else, on top of those Medicare bills that we can't pay for, on top of the exorbitant $12 billion a month we spend, or $12 billion a week, excuse me, we're spending on Iraq. You know, the money's got to come from somewhere. You can't keep running up a deficit and decreasing your revenue. At a certain point, you've got to do it. And both Obama and McCain right now are running on platforms of tax cuts. And I guarantee you, whichever one of them wins is going to be a one-term president for that very reason. Because they're promising people, hey, we're going to cut your taxes, but they're not going to be able to. I mean, the reality is we've got to start raising revenue. That means we've got to raise taxes, and we've got the top, 2%, the top income earners in this country that have progressively been paying less and less, or I should say regressively paying less and less over the last 30 years. It's time to get them to pitch in their share. I guess one of the things the Democrats are trying to do is some kind of salary cap on, not a salary cap, but a compensation cap, executive compensation cap, which I'm not sure how that's going to work. I guess it would have to pertain only to the companies that we're bailing out. But it's one of those things that's great in theory, but I think in practice we're not going to be able to pull it off legally. So.
And the automakers want $25 billion to retool and make efficient cars, which they should have been doing 10 and 20 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Outrageous.
Yeah. And this is the thing. I mean, every big company has got its hands out. I mean, this is a transition into true corporate socialism for America.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, we're turning into the same thing that China is now, that Russia is slowly evolving into. I mean, we've got a situation now where it's really corporate socialism. There's no better term for that.
So much for Republican fiscal economics, right?
Yeah, no, it is. And it's interesting to see some of the guys that are, the last holdouts on the conservative economics that are on the Republican side that are really up there voicing their opposition to this. And this is a situation I'm not sure how much you can lead to market correction without having a market collapse. If the banks collapse, I mean, FDIC is not prepared for it. Nothing is prepared for it. They've eviscerated every, banking regulation and every government agency that's protected against this sort of thing for the past 20, 25 years. So, it's a mess.
On these upcoming forums, do you expect Connie Mack to show up at any of them?
So far, all the responses that we've gotten from the forums, Connie Mack has not committed to being to any of them. We got an interesting video clip where they went up to one of his fundraising events with the camera, and Jeff Cohen threw him out right away. He'd actually throw him out, but he said you can stay as long as you turn off the camera. So on their way out, they caught Connie Mack coming in, and Chuck asked him. He said he hopes to see him around on the forums, and Connie Mack said, "Well, I'm going to be around. I'll be around all over the place."
Oh yeah.
So. I know he was speaking at the Sarah Palin, John McCain rally the other day, which is interesting. I would have loved to have got some video from that.
Yeah, I bet. I don't think you'll be seeing much of him.
No, I don't think so either. I think his strategy at this point basically seems to be pretend the election isn't actually happening.
Yeah, just let the party registrants re-elect him.
So.
God bless Connie Mack.
We were just talking about, we're trying to figure out, so far it doesn't seem like anybody's actually pulled this race. So I had a really good interview with the Naples Daily News last week. I would be surprised if they actually do endorse me. But the Naples Daily News does occasionally pick candidates, underdog candidates. So, but they were really responsive to everything that we were talking about, and they liked our approach. So at the end of the meeting, he's like, Jeff Lytle said, "Well, you should run for Secretary of State."
Yeah.
Because we were talking mostly about foreign policy, and I said, "Well, hey, if it was an elected position, I'd be there." He's like, "That's a good note to end this on." So
that'd be an upset if you got an endorsement from the Naples Daily News. That'd be incredible.
Yeah, that would be amazing. It would certainly breathe a second wind into this campaign. So.
That'd keep Connie awake for a few minutes more. Well, jeez.
Well, it'll be interesting to see which way the papers go. They had the Islamic Center for Peace. They got together a bunch of people to go down to the news press this week. They had a meeting with them about sending out a session. They said that was productive. I was actually planning on going to that, but there was a miscommunication somewhere. I ended up not going. But on the 6th of October, I've got their endorsement review. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised by how well the Naples Daily interview went. So
it'll be over before you know it.
Yeah, I know. I've got this last October is booked solid. I think every week except for the last week, I've got at least 3 or 4 either forums or events every week in October. So I'm looking forward to it.
Take your vitamin C.
Yeah. Thankfully, this Ramadan will be over. I have like one last major event. Tuesday we have a candidate forum in Cape Coral, the Civic Association in Cape Coral. And then that's it for Ramadan, for major events. So I think it actually worked to my advantage in Naples the other day. Because I had worked the night before, I hadn't gotten any sleep. I had no food, no drink, so I just went in there running on pure adrenaline.
You were wired.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I'll see you out on the 27th.
Okay,
we'll be out there. Good crowd. You'll see, we'll probably be here for the October meeting as well. Not causing any problems, I think?
No, I was just looking at it.
We tried for like 2 weeks to get somebody else to take our spot, but we need somebody that had time. She didn't even have a job, so that's why she put it on. This was the person that was, she wanted to do it also. So we had to postpone it.
So you're going to do the full Peace Fair like early next year?
Well, the reason why we wanted to do it in the fall was because in the spring, the Responsible Growth Management Coalition and Sierra Club, they organized the Earth Day at Courtshop. So then it'd be spring and fall, and people would get, the message twice a year instead of just once a year. But I think what we're going to do now as the Progressive Student Alliance is coordinate with the Sierra Club and see, well, they want us to help, they want more students to get involved. So we're going to pursue that. And we might actually have it at school, I'm not sure yet. So we'll see how the administration feels about it, because they're charging us $2,100 to do it here, and that's why we decided to go to Courtshop. But if we can convince the president to let us do it for free, or a lesser charge or something, then
Earth Day, you might have a shot.
yeah, because it's supposed to be a green school.
Yeah, so Earth Day, you can shame him into doing something for Earth Day, I'm sure, if you pressure him on it. Yeah, he's going to be at the, when is that, the 7th? I have to look at it. He's got a dinner over at the Black History Museum, I think on the 7th.
Of October?
October, yeah. And Merwin's going to be the speaker there. So.
Merwin or?
Not Merwin, the new guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty cool, Bradshaw.
Bradshaw, yeah.
He says a lot of good things in public, so.
We'll see. Maybe I'll corner him. I'll ask him about that.
Yeah, but some of us want to go as ambassadors of the Center of Environmental Sustainability Education and talk to Bradshaw about that.
Yeah.
But we have to coordinate with the director and everything first. I'm sure.
Well, if you, I'm sure, talk to Alibaba. I'm sure we can get you a few student passes. We're getting a table for the Islamic Center for Peace. We're all
You're gonna be tabling here?
For his dinner, yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to have a chance, because it's probably going to be at most about 20-30 people. So if you want to have a chance to kind of corner Bradshaw and talk to him a little bit there, you could probably get a few students. I think we get a few seats at one of our tables for some students here to come to your dinner. Give them a student discount / student.
Yeah,
Student representation.
Everyone's suffering. So it's a black history. And I'm sorry, your name again?
Can't forget all the